Namaskar viewers, once again welcome back in my YouTube channel. In the row of our news analysis, today we are going to take a very important topic that is concerned with a recent news that RBI has classified three banks, your HDFC ICICI Bank and your SBI as D SIBs. D SIBs basically means systematically important bank. So in this video, we will try to understand and analyze what is D SIBs, what is G SIBs, and other related concepts. So with due respect of you all, I'm going to start video. Let's start. So the news is basically concerned with recently RBI has classified three banks, HDFC ICICI Bank and your SBI Bank as a DSIBs. DSIBs basically means systematically important bank. So as you know that a few days ago Silicon Valley Bank collapsed, and that's why different countries started to take measure in their own way so that they can ensure stability in their country in the banking sector. So as you know that collapse of Silicon Valley Bank do not create any contagious impact in the world, because this ambit and the arena of this bank, Silicon Valley Bank, is narrower. That's why it do not create any impact on the banking system of the world. So let's come to the our point. Our point is, what is DSIBs? D systematically importance bank. This is concept come in 2014 after 2008 crisis of economic crisis of 2008. The banks of different countries started to take initiative to ensure their stability. In that respect, India has also take step and created a category that is your DSIBs. In DSIBs, it classified few banks so that it can ensure stability. So now we'll try to understand what is the criteria to classify any bank in DSIB, and how the RBI classified. So there is a criteria. In first step, a sample is created of the banks. In those samples, those banks are selected whose size is big. Size is as such like as 2% of GDP, and on the basis of leverage ratio. Leverage ratio means your debt upon equity, means how much equity they have and how much debt they have taken. So in this way, on the basis of leverage ratio and their size, a sample is created of the banks. After that, in these samples, other banks are on the basis of their efficiency, on the basis of their accountability, they are analyzed and discussed. After that, a score is given to them. After that, scoring these banks, few banks are chosen, and these banks are classified as a DSIBs. So this is your story of DSIB. So now we'll be thinking, what is different between DSIB banks and other banks? So it is general issue which you may think, right? So in other banks, you should know that there is a Basel committee based on Switzerland which created norms for regulation of the banking sectors. So as per this committee, there should be two types of capital in the banks. First is tier 1 capital and tier 2 capital. Tier 1 capital include your owner's equity and your preferential shareholder and undistributed profit. And tier 2 also include like your secondary shareholders. So in the same manner, many other things. So we will not analyze those aspects here. So in tier 1 capital, as I told you that it include your undistributed profit and owner's equity. So these two things is commonly called as common equity, EC. T1 means common equity tier 1, which includes these two things, undistributed profit and common owner's equity. Owner's equity basically means shareholders of the bank. Okay, undistributed profit means the profit which is earned by the bank, and it has stocked that profit for further investment. So this is your T1, EC T1, common equity tier first capital. So in general banks, in general the banks have this common equity T1, but in case of D SIBs, this EC T1 becomes additional common equity T1. It means now, which in the case of general, in other banks the EC T1 will be of a certain amount, will be keep at a certain amount, but in the D SIBs this EC T1 will be increased. It means they will keep now more equity, they will keep more equity so that they can ensure their stability. So now I think that you may be able to understand what is EC-T1, and it is important for D SIBs to maintain additional EC-T1. So on this ground, there is a globally SIBs, globally systematic important banks. The Basel Committee, and it was basically initiative of G20, that G20 started initiative on the consultation of Basel Committee, that it classified 30 banks in the world as GSIBs, globally systematic importance. So in these 30 SIBs, banks like your Bank of America, Bank of China, and many other banks are included. But in these 30 SIBs, our means India's no Bank of India is included. So it is matter of concern, and it is important for the country to create any bank at a large scale which may get the status of economic of scale, and may include in this. So this is your GSIBs, and that is your DSIBs. So one thing that you should know, that country in India, banks, RBI has also taken many preemptive actions as well. For example, the CAR, capital adequacy ratio, which is defined, which is prescribed by Basel Committee at 8%. RBI has increased this 9% in case of commercial banks and 12% in case of your public banks. So RBI has also taken preemptive actions. So it is very important to stability it is very important the stability of the bank, because the banks creates bedrock of our economy. If the bank will collapse, it will create havoc in the country and create very upheaval and disturbance in the country. So stability of the bank is very important. So I think you will be able to get it what I wanted to deliver you, and you may be able to understand. So with this point, I will wind the program here. Please do watch the video and like and subscribe the channel. Very thank you to all.